Let's do this.
This podcast means like super like nonchalant. We can talk about whatever. So,
dude, I've watched your guys' podcasts. They're awesome. I love them. So I'm totally into this. I'd much rather be have a podcast where we just like talk back and forth about stuff versus like I'm reading off a piece of paper. Like these are the things that we're gonna hit. You know,
that's how I
totally cool
I like to roll like that. I don't like scripted. I just like to shoot off the hip.
Yeah. So we interviewed Levi Kitchen on our last podcast, and I
just finished that one again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've watched it twice now.
Look at that. Yeah, you got my mom beat.
I felt like I way over prepared on that one. I realized Hayden over here can talk to a brick wall for an hour, but I had all these questions, and like it went fine, but I just felt like I was like going off the questions like one by one, and so I figured for this one we can just, we just like didn't prepare a ton just because it'll probably go a lot better. Just you know, talk about whatever.
Dude, I can tell you right now, like there are so many things happening in our motocross industry and across the industry abroad that there is no lack of things to talk about, right? We have electric bikes that are making huge waves that, depending on like what side you're on, people are either super pissed off about it or super on board with it. Obviously with Supercross, like literally days away from happening. Both classes are super stacked. There's so much to talk about there. So I'm open.
Well, so I've got a question right off the bat. What do you think about, I'm sure you saw the West lineup came out today. Oh yeah. What do you think about Justin Cooper being on the East Coast and Colt Nichols being on the West Coast?
I thought it was a really weird decision. I don't understand. I think there's a lot of politics involved with that, right? I think they're looking for a title. I think everybody's trying to make a wave in their own way. Like, just think about how many riders we have, East Coast or West Coast, that are stacked riders, right? That are like top tier, could be not only 250 champions, but you would expect them to be 450 champions in the next few years. And you have them stuck all in the same place, whether it's West Coast or East Coast. So I think people are just making like moves just to try and figure out where they stand, where they might make better placement. And I don't think it's just for them too. I think it's for all the riders across the board. But either way, it's going to make Supercross extremely interesting this year. And on top of that, I don't know. You guys tell me. What are your thoughts on it?
I'm a little confused about why it happened, because just from like if I were a sponsor of Star Yamaha, I would want to see the number one plate, run through the season with my sponsors on it.
Of course.
But I've also heard that Star Yamaha, obviously they care about their sponsors, but they're more concerned about results. Yeah. So I'm sure that played something into it. And
I think
go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off, man. I was going to say that, I think especially with Yamaha right now, Yamaha in general, I think is the team right now who is trying to make significant changes, right?
Yeah.
We saw Tomac get picked up. Dylan Ferrandis killed it in outdoors, right? If you would have told me that Dylan Ferrandis was going to win outdoors before that season, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not that he's a bad rider, I just wouldn't have expected it.
Yeah.
And now we have, obviously with the Degans kind of getting on board, like Yamaha is, I think they're playing chess while everybody else is still kind of playing checkers. So that decision for the 250 riders, I think, is probably lined up with that. They're playing chess. They're making moves. They're trying to figure out where can we get the red plate, or where can we make the most splash? Where will we get the opportunity to put our name at the top of the list? And I think that's why they're making those big and weird decisions, honestly.
Does anybody else think that this was Kawasaki like 5 years ago? Like this is kind of Kawasaki's push in Supercross. Cause I know Kawasaki is like super dominant. For like, I don't even know how many years straight, but they had title after title between like 250 and 450 divisions. They were just killing it. And then we just see this new area of like Star Yamaha just like come through, and it's been incredible to watch. Really. It's just, it's like so dominant.
And I think that's the point with Yamaha is they're creating a dynasty, right? Like today I posted about, I don't know if you guys saw it, about electric dirt bikes again, because it's an awesome topic, I think. But I immediately got hit with people who are like, excuse me, I'm sorry, let me back up. I posted that video about the 250 class. Right. I don't know if you guys saw that one on TikTok, but I posted a video about the 250 class on who my top riders I think we should watch this season. And I had somebody comment, hey, when is Hayden Deegan getting in the mix? And I'm like, your guess is as good as mine. But the point is think about it. There's so many people who are already amped on somebody who's not even in the big show. That's a dynasty. That like who in Kawasaki is like that? Like who in Honda? Sure, Jet, but Jet's already doing the racing. He's already in the big show, but they don't have anybody that I'm like, oh my gosh, this amateur is going to do amazing things, right? Nobody.
The only thing I can think of to even compare it to is I remember like AC had a lot of hype for a while.
Right.
I remember like seeing, like back in the day, seeing videos of him on like 65s racing with Ricky Carmichael. But I mean, at the same time, he wasn't a YouTube star while he was an amateur, you know?
Well,
and that's the game changer, right? Like, I'm thinking that I keep on telling a lot of my friends this is that the bigger, so motocross was kind of in that lull, right? And then all of a sudden coronavirus came back in, and whatever politics you follow on it, don't matter. The fact is all of a sudden people wanted dirt bikes.
We're stuck at home.
And everybody started riding, right? But YouTube and TikTok and Instagram are kind of taking our industry to this place that it's never been.
I agree.
And now, I'm a fan of the Deegans. I watch their YouTube channel. I go watch, all of the dudes and all like Barsha's channel. What is that called? I can't remember. The Barsha show or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I watched that
Bam
one
TV,
too.
I think, right?
Yeah, Bam TV. And the fact of the matter is, like, it makes a connection between the motocross industry directly to the fans, which is something we have never had, right? You had to go to the pits to meet your favorite rider. Now I can go on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram and comment that directly. And if Brian Deegan likes my comment, I'm like, oh man, I'm the coolest guy in the world. We never had that before. Yamaha knows that. The Deegans know that. Jet Lawrence knows that and is starting to put that in play at Honda. So it's going to be super interesting moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, Jet with the OnlyFans thing.
That was
like
hilarious.
The donut fans or whatever. But I mean, he's like separate from. I mean, obviously he's still on the media platform, but he went through this. I think Jet did something a little bit different than what most of the riders have done, either in the past, like with his like the OnlyFans thing or whatever. I thought that was so. Because it's not like you're like, oh, you're starting this on like a social media platform. It's like this, I don't know. It's kind of like this other entity that he kind of brought to the table. I don't know. It's just a different aspect to the scene. I thought it was pretty cool.
One thing too, that I think I heard them talking about this on the Gypsy Tales podcast was it right now. And especially going into the future, like the contract that Hayden Deegan signed with Star Yamaha is probably super minuscule compared to the amount of money he's making on YouTube.
Yeah, true.
And
it's like nickels and dimes.
And so that kind of gives him a certain power that other riders haven't had before. And I think Jet's headed in that same direction too, where he might be making more money off of doing these cool Red Bull videos and selling Jetson donut merch than I mean, I don't know how much his Honda contract is for, but once it gets to the point where he's making more money off of that than what Honda's paying him, then it's kind of like, oh, well, you're telling me to do this, but I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Gives a lot more power to the rider, which we haven't had in the past. Like most riders in the past had to like, they follow a script on the podium. We haven't really got to see this, an individual kind of rider, like character form. Like we love seeing like Jet on the podium. Like we love seeing, anybody that like has something other to say than, oh, I want to thank my mom, my dad, my sponsors. Like it's just, we've seen that so many times that it's like this new fresh wave of, entertainment. And I think it adds a fantastic, piece to it.
And that's what it is, right? It's entertainment. It's not, does it have to do with MX and our culture and all that other stuff? Sure. But at the very end of the day, it's legitimately entertainment, right? Like this sounds terrible, but I don't care about Hudson Deegan.
Huxon
Deegan, right? Like, I don't even know his name clearly, but watching him ride around a dirt bike track and seeing him rip and sitting down with my son and he's into it. For me, it's entertainment. I'm not cheering him on at the races, but going back to what you said before is, especially with what the Gypsy Tales said is, or, that podcast is, they are now looking at this as like, well, racing is the thing, but I don't know if it'll be the thing forever.
Yeah.
And Brian Deegan, interestingly enough, if you think about it, he's kind of that trendsetter, right?
Very much so.
Here he was, Supercross, right? Had won a race, and that race had, I think Ping was in that race. I think Carmichael was racing that day. I mean, he beat some big heavy hitter names, and he still was like, peace out. I make more money jumping my dirt bike 100 feet.
Yeah, true.
Right?
True.
So now he's molded his son to go like, look, you're fast on a dirt bike, but that's not it. Right? Like there's more to this that we can do. And I think that's the genius in the Deegans. And like I said, Jet, he knows what's up. He, especially with like those fan press conferences. Have you guys seen those?
Well, I heard that him and Hunter are both doing something tomorrow, right? That's going to be,
and it's like not your normal press conference, right? It's their opportunity to connect with their fan base in a very casual environment, which, like you guys said, has never been the thing, right? It always was stand in line at Supercross, at whatever track you're at, hold your poster, get it signed by somebody.
Yeah. And then gone.
Hopefully shake their hand and take a picture, bye. And now I can go on TikTok or Instagram and talk to them directly.
Yeah. It makes the rider to fan experience, a little bit less complicated. Like you don't have to spend $300 on a pit pass to go meet, Ken Roxon. Like you can, or I mean, maybe not Ken Roxon in general.
When I used to go to the races, the pit pass, you just would bring a monster can and that would get you in.
They're doing that again, I think now.
Are they?
Yeah. I think at least here in Glendale, Arizona, the Supercross, you just bring a monster can, which sucks because I'm not a big monster fan.
I don't drink monster.
Just bring a full one.
Just bring a can sleeve.
Yeah. But yeah, so kind of you bringing that up, like I've grown up going to the races and it's kind of the same thing where like you stand in line for an hour, get their signature, shake their hand real quick and that's it. But we got to go to Loretta's this past year. So we're in Nashville right now. And so Loretta's only like an hour away.
Yeah.
Cool. And we had known, which we've kind of already talked about this on the podcast, but we knew really nothing about, I didn't even know if you had to pay to get in or what the deal was.
Yeah.
One person just like, I think I commented on Racer X's post. I was like, yo, how do you get tickets for this? And someone commented, it's free, just show up. It's like, all right. So we just roll up, have no idea what we're getting into.
No sunscreen.
Yeah. And, but one thing that was really cool about that was you can just go up and pretty much talk to whoever you want. So we went up when we talked to Brian Deegan for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, we just
what?
Yeah, we were just talking to him.
Sick.
And he was,
really cool.
I mean, there was a group of people that were like, standing there, getting the signature, getting the picture and leaving, and Hayden over here, he wants to talk to everyone for an hour. So we go up, we're like, hey man, what's up? And then Hayden just starts asking him all these questions. And you could tell he was so relieved that he was like, finally someone wants to talk to me instead of just getting my signature and leaving.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But it was cool because it was set up similarly to like what I was used to at Supercross, where there's like, the pits and people are set up with their bikes, getting them worked on and stuff. But at the same time, you could just sit there and talk to someone for forever.
Right.
We did the same thing with Levi. We talked to him for probably 20 minutes. Yeah. Then we got to talk to Ryan Hughes for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Rhino. Oh man.
No way. That must have been an interesting conversation, dude.
Yeah.
The guy is so fascinating. Like personality wise, he's a 10. Like the guy has, I don't know. He has this, I really don't know how to describe it. I've met very few people like it, but I think it's just because he's a little bit older and, a little bit of it.
It was interesting. Like we just walked up, we were checking out that bike that he rode. I'm sure you saw that old CR that he rode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he was just sitting at the table, like eating a sandwich. He's like,
he's eating lunch. It's like a snack, like a sack lunch. And he's just chowing down on it. And we're like, dude, is that right here? Like,
and what's funny is like, I feel like his perspective on everything is so like crazy different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, not a little bit different.
Astronomically.
Like way, way different.
Yeah,
and it's
100%.
cool because he's seen so much, done so much, seen riders come and go that like that kind of conversation. I'd love to sit down with him for more than 30 minutes and just be like, just talk. I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
We'll get him on the podcast. And then
We'll
Dude, let me know.
We'll
have a big group podcast. Well, we kind of jumped straight into the racing side of things, but I want to get a little backstory on you, kind of like where you're from, what exactly the Moto Fam is. And just kind of go with that.
Sure. So my name is Pierre. I am the content creator and owner of Moto Fam Media. We are basically a moto hub. I say we as if there's like, I have a bunch of people working for me. It's literally like just me and my kid like gets some GoPro, right? And overall it's basically come from the Moto Fam came from this place of my son saw old pictures of me when I was a kid riding dirt bikes in San Diego. I worked for a company called Moto World and Moto World Racing in El Cajon. Loved the industry, did it for a long time, but like most people, they realize there's not a whole lot of money in motocross.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I'm out of here. I'm going to go do the corporate thing. So I I started working at a bank, wanted to blow my brains out, and decided to go and like I said, my son had seen pictures of me and he was like, hey, dude, hey, dad, I want a dirt bike. If my son was like, hey, bro, I would have been okay too, though. But he was like, hey, I want a dirt bike. So I got him a dirt bike. He started riding around. Then he started going too fast for me to run with him. So I had to get back on a dirt bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did that happen? What was the age level on that?
What was that?
When did he like surpass your speed? Like when did he get up to like you and then faster?
So what's funny is so we got him like one of those cheap Japanese or Chinese like SSR bikes or whatever.
Sure. Uh-huh.
And he was ripping around on that, having a grand old time. And I could, they're not super fast, so I could kind of like jog next to him. And then all of a sudden he was like, Dad, I want to get on an 85. And I was like, that's a jump, bud. Like that's a pretty, I know it's an SSR 110, but that's a different bike.
Yeah.
Right.
That's an animal. An 85 is an animal.
It's an animal of a bike.
It's like a 125.
We started him out, we gradually like worked up to the 85. And as soon as he got on that bike, he was gone.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like just brap.
He hit the pipe. Dude, he hit the pipe and there's no turning back.
Yeah. Like
yes, sir.
He hit that power band and he was like addicted. Boom.
That's
just
why
like
I still
that.
got one.
I'm in this. So we started racing, or not we, he started racing. I had to get a bike just so I could take him out and, work with him, all those great things. And I was like, you know what, dude, like I love this sport. Like I wholeheartedly love MX. I love the culture. I love the people. What can I do to put my 2 cents in, right? If I read all these magazines and look up all these articles and I spend every weekend at the track talking about dirt bikes, there's got to be other people who are into it like me.
100%.
And I'm not going to get Brian Deegan to allow me to videotape him ride. I'm not going to get, any of the riders that are big names to get me to film them. So I just started bringing out my camera to the local track, doing fun edits. And then TikTok is kind of just where it blew up, right? Like I just started talking about the things that I thought were interesting, talking about, the politics of it, the marketing of it. Cause a lot of people don't see that background, right? Like they see the racer and they see the end product. They don't see the fact that there's marketing involved, that there's image. Like,
there's a lot.
They don't see that, talking about Deegan again. I don't want to loop too many times back, but the Deegans are smart. Like they're not your basic moto family. They know that there's more going on underlying. And if there's nobody talking about that, I think we've missed out on a huge part of MX, right? Because, and I don't mean this as like a dig, but there are a lot of the same voices that have been announcers, been commentators, been editors in motocross for years and years. And that's why it's so important for guys like you and me, and even guys like, I don't have any problem with 109 Nate, but like guys like him, he may be controversial and people may not like him, but the fact of the matter is he puts up the numbers and he gets people involved and people see it and they want to talk about it. Whether it's negative or positive doesn't matter. It comes down to, is it getting motocross exposure? Yeah, then I'm down for it.
Yeah,
I just talked a lot. My bad.
No, you're good. That's exactly what we wanted.
That's what I like to hear.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool how, I've only been using TikTok for I guess it's only been popular for a year or two, but it's cool. Right. It's cool how like it used to be like kind of like the traditional influencers of you have to go win races on speed on Saturday night to have any type of influence. And now anyone can fire up TikTok on their phone, and the way that the algorithm's built is kind of built to where I feel like a lot more people have opportunity to grow on TikTok. Right. And it's been cool to see how there's like people like you and like Nate, like you said, and like the under average moto guy. Just a lot of people that are kind of like taking on this new influence outside of the professional riders.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is like you said, you don't have to be this like crazy influencer. You don't need to be taking number one at your local race or at Loretta Lynn's or wherever to be able to talk about motocross anymore. And, I'm no pro, right? I just have merchandise behind me that I like and that I want to keep. Oh, later. Yeah.
We'll make we're gonna take a little break right now. We'll take a little like 2-minute break.
Let's do it.
I gotta drain the main vein, so we're back.
We are back.
So to kind of continue off of what you were saying, this new media platform has given a big voice to the underdogs. Like we are the people who aren't heard. Like without having a race winning platform, like you said, you're not getting content out there. So this new era of, content creators, like we have power to like speak to people, and we grew our following. Like we were like, oh, Connor, let's start a podcast. And we started one. And then like through TikTok and Instagram, we already created, a couple thousand followers and stuff, and listens. But the fact is we had an idea and we set out there and we kind of went for it, and it attracted people with a similar interest. We are D-Class Moto Podcast. We are a bunch of slow guys on dirt bikes that love to have fun. And like, there's a lot of other people like us out there. So, it's really cool to have an interest, like you said, in something. And then of course there's other people who have the same interest in that. Why don't I start recording this? And why don't we start, sharing ourselves with the world? And so by doing that, we've created this awesome little community.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's like, I say to a lot of people right now that we're like in this niche, right? We're like
Very
in this small like area that we kind of hover in. But I really don't think that's going to be forever. I really think that some of the influencers that you see will turn into the future of the sport. Maybe not racing per se, but the voice of motocross and that kind of stuff. And it's important to like keep that fresh and not to like so abruptly change subjects, but it's the reason why when it comes to electric dirt bikes that I'm so not like, no, right? Because so many people, if for instance, let's just take this for example. If you guys never started a podcast and you guys never were able to talk to Levi, never talked to me, never had the chance to have these conversations, who would?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And so in a way, we are the people who are creating this movement, if you would, right? The same thing goes with like the electric bike is, look, I don't want electric bikes to take over everything. I'm not that stupid. Like I love my 4-strokes. I love that my kid rides a 2-stroke. Like I've ridden dirt bikes for gas powered dirt bikes. As a kid, I have never put my leg over an electric bike, but I'm also not stupid enough to think that that isn't going to be a thing.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
We have kids who are like 2-year-olds all the way up into, whatever the biggest KTM electric dirt bike is that you can buy, who are going to be like, yeah, I'm going to hop on an electric bike.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they grew up on.
Who are we to say that that's not the thing?
Exactly.
So
100%.
It's one of those things where our industry from top to bottom, right? The industry like Kawasaki, Stark Varg, Honda's getting in the mix with electric bikes. They are the innovators of that part of the industry. And we are the innovators at the bottom, pushing the conversation. You can't have one without the other. Otherwise we stagnate and motocross just dies.
Yeah, because who wants to listen to some corporate guy talk about his motorcycle when he can listen to a bunch of goons like us talk about it? Like we are much more relatable than some guy making thousands of dollars on an ad. This is the reason why we're here.
And have you guys ever tried to watch like the factory dudes on YouTube, not the racers, like the guys who like put together the bikes? They are the boringest dudes to listen to talk to, right?
Yeah, definitely.
They're like, this is a dirt bike and this is the throttle and this is this part. And you're like, by 30 seconds into the video, I'm like, we're done.
Yeah.
Right. Like you can't watch this because there's nothing there. But I know influencers or I know TikTokers and Instagrammers who do this same exact thing on their 1995 CR250. And I will watch the video from beginning to end because at least I can feel and relate what they're talking about versus some random dude who makes $100K a year to build motors, but can't talk to me about it.
Yep. 100%.
Right.
Totally get that.
So, all right. So we crossed that bridge of electric bikes. I want to hear from you guys. I want to know.
I come from a mechanically inclined background, so I don't let anybody. Okay. I'm gonna preface. The only people I will let touch my bike are like suspension guys, and I think that's about it. Like my suspension is basically the only thing I'll send out. I'll do the rest of it myself. But where I'm going with this is.
I was say, where are you headed?
Watching the output of like an electric bike is like 80 horsepower. That's pretty insane. And then they have like a 450. Like if you would get a factory bike from like Yamaha or whatever, it produces roughly around like 60 horsepower. I think it's somewhere in there. And so then they have this electric bike that makes 80 horsepower. So that way you have like, you can get, I forget the name of that. Is it Stark? What's the name of the
new brand?
Yeah, the new
Stark, right?
Stark. So they have this
Stark Varg.
Yeah, Stark Varg. They have an 80 horsepower and a 60 horsepower model, and you can choose which one you'd want. And there's a couple guys that have already got pre-orders in for $100, and they got the 80 horsepower one, which is, insane more power than a 450 like race bike. So to see that kind of power in between your legs is kind of crazy. I know.
And what's interesting too is I think they said that you can kind of determine what power output you want.
Right.
So I think they said it starts at like a equivalent of a 125. I don't remember if it was a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke, but you can have it set at that, and then it can go up to obviously 80 horsepower. So I think I'll be interested to see how that translates to potentially people buying new bikes less often.
Mm-hmm.
Because
that's interesting.
Instead of they're like, oh, well, I've been riding this 125. I need to upgrade to a 250. Oh, I want to upgrade to a 450. Now they can just press one button and they're on a different bike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, and that's like such a good, it's like a double-edged sword, right? Mm-hmm. On the one hand, you're right. Like it's going to open doors for people. So one of the biggest arguments that I see is like, people are like, nobody's going to buy a $14,000 electric bike. Mm-hmm. Okay, like I just bought a 2022 KTM that was pretty damn close to that amount, right? Yeah. Like, so on top of that, most dudes who buy a dirt bike don't leave it stock. They're going to put in a couple grand into it, suspension, pipe, all that other stuff. Now you have to do that with a 125, a 250, a 450, and then you decide to do that with your family. And I have my wife rides, I ride, my kid rides. So now I have to do that 3 times in a row that's hundreds of thousands of dollars for one dirt bike. Once you get out of once you get out of an 85 or a super mini, you hop on that electric bike and now you map it. So like a guy like you won't be able to wrench on it, but let's say you become the type of person who's on a computer and tunes it, right? You tune that thing to how you want it to ride from age 13 to who knows. Now, the downside is doesn't that mean less bikes sold, less money for the industry and all that other kind of stuff? Yeah, maybe. But overall, I think it's a plus win. Yeah. But my biggest thing, and this is like you guys on TikTok and you guys too, here's my biggest thing with the electric bikes. I recently went to my local track, Moto Land. And you good?
Yes. Hold on. It's for some reason I keep turning the volume down on my phone and then it keeps coming back.
Okay. No worries.
But so you can keep talking.
Okay.
I'm listening.
So like, the issue is that I recently went to my local track, Motoland MX here in Arizona, and there was a kid there who had one arm.
Oh, wow.
One arm. He could twist the throttle. He can pull the brake, but he was born with no left arm. Imagine a dirt bike that you don't need to use the clutch, right? All you got to do is clip your hand in if you're a person who doesn't have a certain limb, or you clip your leg in because you don't need a shift or dude, like you cannot tell me that a kid who can never ride a dirt bike, who's been told their whole life, hey, can't ride a dirt bike, you can't pull in the clutch, or hey, you can't ride a dirt bike because you can't shift because you don't have a foot or whatever. Yeah. You can't get them on an electric bike to twist that throttle and do 50-foot doubles. Sorry, like you lose me at that. Like I'm going to always say like, yo, if I can get more people into dirt bikes, it's a plus.
Definitely.
And that's how I see it. Yeah. No, I don't want gas powered bikes to go away. In fact, I think 2-strokes should make a huge comeback.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, I got a lot to say about that.
They're more efficient now. They don't pollute as bad, and I could care less if they did.
Yes,
but to those people who do care, the pollution rate is way down low on them. Oils and gases have gotten better over time. Dude. Bring them all back.
Oh yeah,
2-strokes. 4-strokes, electric, somebody make up a 3-stroke and let's just throw them all together.
Well, and I think like one reason why a lot of people are upset about the electric bikes is because they think that it's going to replace a gasoline bike.
There's no way, dude.
Right.
And I don't think that that's going to happen. And I mean, is if it's another way to get more people into the sport, or if it's a way to be able to open a track in the middle of the city, then
dude,
yeah, that is the one thing that I will say for me is like the number one selling point for an electric bike is the fact that you can ride those in like a neighborhood. Like how many times have I gotten yelled at like when I was a kid for riding my dirt bike down the street, or like I would get into so much trouble with neighbors just because like we only had a certain amount of time we could ride, and like there was a whole bunch of hoops we had to jump through in order to ride our dirt bike on our property. But with an electric bike, you can go out there at like 6 a.m. in the morning and nobody's gonna know you're out there, and you can run 30-minute motos, and you might hear in a chain zinging through a sprocket or something, but there's so much potential for opening, and this is only going to be good for our sport. Like this is only going to bring good things to our sport, because the more people you can get involved like in the city urban areas, because we all know there's a lot of people out there that probably wish they had a dirt bike under the Christmas tree this year, but they live in a suburb of Chicago and they can't really go ride. But if you create these like stadiums, or they really don't even have to be stadiums, but if you create 2-3 acres worth of property and you can go out and ride your electric bike without any sound restrictions. So a great example of that is when we went to Monroe, Georgia to go race at Scrub and Dirt. On Saturdays are the races, because on Sundays we can't ride because of the noise until noon, after 11 or noon.
I think it's noon.
Yeah. After 12 o'clock, we can start riding on Sundays because there's a church right down the street, and we can't be, we would literally deafen the entire church if you just hear the thundering 4 strokes, going off in the background. But because of the electric bike, I think this is going to offer a lot more opportunity for, riders to ride throughout like the whole day and not have noise complaints, I think this will be great.
I'll be interested to see though how honestly though, like the people that ride at Monroe, not many of them are going to be getting electric dirt bikes.
That's a very small, but that's a great example of why we can't ride before noon and or race on Sunday, because I was feeling so overwhelmed with like learning a whole new track that I've never been on. On Saturday, and then like going back to the track on Sunday afternoon and being 10 times faster on Sunday than I was on Saturday, just because I had more seat time. But that's just like food for thought.
Yeah. And like, it's such a good point, because, once you have a bike that's electric, you don't really even need dirt anymore. Like there was some dude talking about building like more of like a prefabbed track, right? Like if asphalt, you could prefabricate a track, it sounds weird, that like bolts together like a kit.
Oh, okay.
And then you put, it looked like carpet, like thick,
like turf,
like almost like turf, but it wasn't green turf. It was just like some thick carpety turfy stuff.
Sure.
Now you don't even have to prep the track, right? Like
that's true.
The possibilities are endless, and that's the issue why I have so many. Like I have so much pushback against people who are like, electric dirt bikes are dumb. Yeah, no, they're not. They have their place. Maybe not in my garage, but they have their place, right? In somebody 100%. Else's garage. I'm not selling my. Nobody's going to come to your door and be like,
you're never going to see me with an electric bike in my garage without, a 2-stroke or 4-stroke in there as well. Yeah. Like I'm never going to just only own an electric bike.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll just go buy a pipe and just attach it to my electric bike.
Dude, how freaking wild would that be?
So I can pretend.
Dude. Get a little speaker for it.
Dude, that gets my blood flowing.
We can just do what we did when we were kids with bicycles. We just put like a can in the rear tire
or the Pokemon card. That's what we would always do.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Pokemon card. Absolutely. Dude, it's all good, bro. We can make sound if we need to.
Yeah, that is the least of our problems,
But going back to what you're saying, the only company that I'm like kind of disappointed with all that is Cowie.
Yeah, because they said they're gonna stop making gas, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, they've said they're gonna back out, but how, dude?
I don't know how. Yeah.
Right? Like, man, you have this amazing team in Pro Circuit Cowie, right? Some of the best in the sport have come out of that team, and you're telling me that you're gonna go all electric when nobody has come up with an electric class,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Nobody's racing electric bikes
Yeah.
yet. That's not a thing. So you're signing a check in hopes that something's going to work out. And I'm sure it will. I just don't think they're thinking that one through.
Mhm.
But I don't work for Cowie. Who knows?
So do you think that there'll ever be a time where electric bikes and gas bikes race in the same class? Or do you think that that'll have to be two separate things?
Like I said before, I think 252 strokes, 454 strokes, throw in an electric bike, put them all in a main, right? Like we've gotten, this is my opinion, we've gotten to the point where you can be a dope rider on any bike because all bikes are so good nowadays, right? And even people who like bag on Suzuki who haven't updated their bikes. I'll tell you what, I rode one of those 3 weekends ago and I shredded on that thing.
100%.
I went like at least 10 miles an hour.
At least.
No, but you know what I mean? Like bikes have gotten to this pinnacle point where we're talking about most people out there, especially average riders like me, will not be able to tell the difference between my brand new KTM and a 2011 Suzuki, right? Like you're just not.
Yeah, and we're not there to push the bike that far.
Exactly. And when you have, and to further that argument, when it comes to like, if you're a good rider, you're a good rider on basically any bike. Think about guys like, what's his name? Stank Dog.
Oh yeah. We love
right?
Stank. Yeah.
Dude, right. Stank is on that 125 and shreds.
Oh yeah. Oh
right?
yes.
Absolutely shreds on that
He's
thing
an
against other
legend.
4-strokes. Why can't we do that?
Yeah. Oh
Why
yeah.
is that not a thing? Why can't we get people who, instead of cheering on just your favorite rider, go Barsha, go Roxon, go whoever.
Dude, I'm rooting for the 2-strokes.
This guy on the 2-stroke because I ride a 2-stroke and I want to see that 2-stroke win.
Yeah,
right.
So,
that's what we should be looking at is
100%.
This like bigger picture. And AMA, if you're watching, you're messing up.
Yeah,
like,
you're missing out.
The AMA doesn't get it. They don't understand it. Why don't we do more stuff for the people who support the sport, who have been yelling and screaming for 2-strokes to come back, but nobody wants to listen. But when electric bikes take off, they're going to listen to that versus just saying like, hey, we've come to this point where if you're a dope rider and you think you can take on 450s and an electric bike on that YZ 250, let's make it happen.
Yeah. I think that, to stir the pot even further with the conversation of 2-strokes coming back. I would love to see, if they wanted to throw like a 252 stroke in a 254 stroke class, but leave the 252 stroke stock. And then you have your race bike. So, like obviously like you can throw like your bars and suspension and stuff, but like leave the motor completely bone stock. So that way there's at least a fair chance in power output. Cause I know like me hopping on my 125 from 2000 and then hopping on Connor's 2015 254 stroke, that thing literally blows my bike out of the water anytime we go over like a rhythm section or in a straight line. That thing's just like, it's just gapped me, but I will throw that thing into a corner 10 times harder than that 4-stroke because my bike weighs like 180 pounds versus 250 pounds. So like it's a crazy difference in chassis and suspension. So like you might see more battling, like in the corners and stuff. And I don't know, like there's just a lot of discussion available for that. But I thought that would be like a pretty interesting way to like regulate the sport.
There's still a lot of unknown because not many people have done it. I mean, Stank Dog did it, but
he was also
what do you think it would be like if they threw Jet Lawrence on a 125 2-stroke or
like we don't know, we have no idea because like obviously we know Stank Dog's fast, he's running up there with the pros, but like he's not sorry Stank, I love you to death, but like you're not running in the championship hunt on your 125. But I would love to see what another rider would do on a 125 and then just to kind of get a gauge for it.
And like I get that like they don't want to do that for like the main, like they don't want to throw Jet on a 125 for the main Supercross class because he's got some business to take care of.
Of course.
But if they were to like maybe bring back Monster Cup again or do these, like the Paris race, like if like it would be cool if riders and manufacturers were willing to mix it up, at least for those oddball races that don't necessarily count for much,
Right. And I think Ping, you guys know Pingree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's with Vital MX.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, he brought up a really good point of like, think of how many more privateers would come in.
Oh, dude. Yes.
Because you can rebuild a top end in your pit, right? You could buy a bike and, you can go pick up a brand new dirt bike for a brand new 2-stroke dirt bike for a lot cheaper than that 4-stroke, maintain it way easier. Yeah. You might have to rebuild the top end a whole bunch more, but what's a top end? A couple $100?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You could get more people into racing, more people that can't fork out, 10 grand for a bike and then another 10 grand for, putting it together for racing. But you can get a guy who can buy a $7,000 or $8,000 2-stroke and then put another $4 grand into it and have a legit freaking dirt bike.
Absolute ripper. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that's my biggest takeaway from the electric dirt bike, like the 2-stroke dirt bike, the 4-stroke. Like I really think, like, just open up the floodgates. Like, let's just see who's fast.
Yeah. I want to see the dopest riders riding, some of the craziest stuff out there. Like, recently on social media, I saw somebody took a 450, like a CRF, like 450, but they put these like super fat wide tires on it. It was like 3-wheeler tires on a 450 dirt bike. And like, that's just crazy. Like, I've never seen that before, but because of, modern technology, we can do that. And
and also the fact that if they do that, they know they're going to get the views that'll they'll pay for that to be worth them doing.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that whole mantra of like, you got to blow some money to make some money.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of these YouTubers are the same way. They decided to just buy a crap bike for $2 grand and put in $5 grand. And all of a sudden they got 10 million subs. Well, maybe not 10 million, but you know what I mean? Like you get a bunch of subs overnight because they were willing to put in that work.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is super crazy. But again, it goes like, it comes full circle, right? Like if you have a privateer who picks up a dirt bike and shows you on YouTube all the stuff that he has to do to get it ready for racing, and then you see him go to the race, like, no team does that, but a privateer could do that, and he could make money just off of YouTube, start a GoFundMe to help him get to Supercross.
That's genius. Right? What if privateers did a GoFundMe? You can sponsor your favorite rider. How freaking cool would that be? Like, you just like, I put $20 on this guy and I bought him, like some new gloves or I don't know, whatever it is. And like, he's out there ripping on the track because you
have gloves on.
I don't know, like tear offs. You bought like $30 worth of tear offs. I don't know, but like anything.
But that brings up like a whole different thing, right? Like, so as a person who used to be in banking, we see a lot of investors, right? Different types of investment. Well, now the biggest investment in a lot of people's eyes is this NFT wave. Yeah. What if a rider created NFTs and you could buy NFTs from that rider and you could directly support that guy? And not only see him at the track, but you can say like, yo, I own a piece of his team.
Yeah, you own some stock. Imagine I get some Jet Lawrence stock.
I'm a part owner of this dude's team.
Oh man, you just open up a floodgate in my mind, dude.
All right, dude.
We're gonna make this happen. I know.
We're gonna make it happen.
Are you gonna be the privateer that
dude? I don't think my body can afford that. I will never financially recover from this. Like, there's no way, dude. Oh my gosh, yeah. I've already taken 2 trips to the hospital.
Dude, how's your arm?
I'm doing good. Like, dude, there's certain like very specific movements that require like that create like soreness or pain or whatever. But when I'm on my dirt bike, I literally
you've ridden since then.
Yeah,
so I
guess I shredded, and I was the fastest I have ever been on a dirt bike. Was the last time I ever rode, and I never once thought, man, my shoulder hurts, or even realized that I was in the hospital 3 weeks ago. Like, it never even occurred to me, but. Yeah, like I only notice the pain when I'm like physically working, at work, like lifting things or just weird movements and stuff like that. But riding the dirt bike, it literally feels like I'm at home. I don't know. There's something about it.
That's funny.
It's therapy. I don't know.
You're like that what was that movie? You guys might be too young for it. It was
Hot Rod,
where the kid like
sorry,
plays baseball, falls down and like hurts his arm, but then when he gets out, he can throw like a baseball.
Angels in Outfield.
Is that movie?
That the movie?
No, it's not Angels in the Outfield. I don't know, but the kid can throw like 103 mile an hour fastball.
Yeah, chat. What is that? What movie is that?
I thought,
yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yep. Like, right? He would throw it. Well, that's you, bro.
Yeah,
you hurt your arm. Now you're going to be our privateer.
At whips, and I have a busted up shoulder.
You wish.
Dude, you know what I dream about? Like most people are dreaming about like crazy things. I just want to learn how to whip my dirt bike. That's all I want to do in life.
So, all right. So let's talk about I really want to know what your guys' thoughts are for this season, Supercross. Who's taking 450? Who is going to be in the podium the most? Who's going to come out on top? And who do you think is way overhyped? So, who's overhyped? Who's taking it? And who's going to at least be on the podium?
So are we going to talk 450 first?
Yeah, 450 first.
Let's
okay.
Should we pause and then re-record?
Oh shoot, yeah, we're at 30 minutes again.
Yeah, we're gonna do a quick.
Okay, we can take a break.
All right, first thought on what are we on 450s first?
I haven't sat down yet.
Well, you better sit down because I'm ready to freaking go, man. I'm all hyped up. He got me talking about like some schemes, and we're gonna do. I don't know. We're gonna
you go first because so just to kind of give us a little of how we both kind of fit into this. I'm the one that like listens to all the podcasts, does all the research.
Yep.
Hayden's more of like the talker, and like I'm interested to see what Hayden has to say.
So
I know he hasn't done as much.
Yeah, Connor's been a lot more involved in because like I didn't get back into dirt bikes until last year in the summer. Like Connor's the one who got me back into it, but I hadn't been following Supercross for like 5 years. It hadn't been so I really didn't know a lot of the new guys coming in, but. From what I can tell from like the 450 division is Ferrandis. I really hope he's going to be.
You hope he's going to be?
No. Listen. I really hope Dylan is not going to be taking home a title this year because back-to-back titles for him would just be another.
Well, he didn't.
No, he didn't win
outdoors.
For outdoors
then,
because I know
outdoor,
I know he didn't win a Supercross title, but I guess we'll talk only about Supercross for now.
That's a lot of momentum, right?
Yeah,
he gets one and he gets the other.
Exactly. So if he's coming back to win a back-to-back, like from outdoors to indoors, he's going to have an insane amount of momentum for him. And I really think, I know he's on Yamaha and Yamahas are really fast. I don't want to see another Dungey.
You're still mad at him for the whole Christian Craig thing.
Hey man. I'm a little salty, but as much as I respect and love Ryan Dungey, to have another Dungey era with another rider, I think would be not detrimental to the sport, but to keep this variety going, I think it would be nice to see somebody else throw a title in, Ken Roczen. But I think Ken Roczen is due for a title. I really think he's due for a Supercross title. Watching him absolutely biff it on that triple in I don't even remember where he was at, but when he basically shattered his arm he was out for the rest of the season, like watching him come back from that. I'm a huge Ken Roczen fan, so watching him try to come back from this recovery was extremely difficult because he's super strong at the first 10 minutes of the moto, but then he's starting to get like faded, and I don't know if that's due to recovering from an injury, but I really think Ken Roczen's due for redemption, and I think that's this year. So Ken Roczen's going to be, he's my guy on the podiums, and potentially he's going to be fighting for that number one plate like throughout the whole season.
So who do you think's overrated?
Who's overhyped?
Overhyped.
Or either over. Well, I guess you kind of answered it, right? Dylan.
Yeah, I think Dylan. I think Ferrandis is going to be the overhyped. But he's going to be super solid. I know he's going to be super solid. I'm just expecting Ken Roczen to step up his game that much more. He's had a whole other, off season to recover and like get used to his riding style. And, he's super planted in his program right now. Like he didn't swap teams or anything like that. So he's been in Honda for like 4 years now. So I'm really anxious to see Ken Roczen do well this year.
That's solid. I think that's solid.
Yeah. But also, nobody has any idea how these other riders are going to do on these new bikes. So,
I think Ken Roczen is not going to finish in the top 3 this year.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow,
I think,
those are fighting words. Hey, man.
Last year, Cooper Webb defeated him mentally. And I don't think that Ken Roczen has an answer for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for sure he's going to finish behind Cooper Webb. And I don't know. It seems like I honestly, I would not be surprised if Ken Roczen retired after the season, because
whoa.
I mean,
he's definitely a little bit older.
You guys heard
he's
it here first.
You didn't
Connor
hear it
Grimes,
here.
if you
didn't
disagree.
hear it here first, because I'm pretty sure I heard that on a podcast somewhere.
You heard it here at some point.
But I mean, he's getting older, and I think that last year was his best chance to win it. And I don't think he has an answer for how Cooper defeated him last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like even, so I had a bad headache on Sunday, and I just turned on like the Anaheim. It was just streaming Anaheim 1 from all these different years over and over again.
Yep.
And back when Ken was on that Suzuki, he was so much more aggressive than he is now.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I can't blame him, because he took that terrible crash. And I mean, I'm obviously not out there.
And his family, right?
Yeah.
He has a family.
Yeah, now he's got a kid
and a super cool dog, shout out.
But I think that if he had his skill and speed last year, along with his aggression that he used to have, then he would have won it. But last year he had some opportunities to be aggressive and he didn't. And I don't see that changing this year. And I don't see him overpowering Cooper Webb mentally this year either.
Yeah.
And there's also a lot of other fast guys coming up.
Yeah.
Bold prediction. I think either Kenny's going to completely prove me wrong and come out and crush it, or I think Chase Sexton will finish ahead of him.
Ooh.
Really?
I think so.
I think Chase has a lot.
I was not expecting that.
I think Chase has, I would agree with a partial of that, because I've just listening to Chase Sexton and like kind of watching him throughout this offseason and stuff like that. I think Chase Sexton has some stuff to show.
So is Sexton taking it then?
I don't think Sexton will take it. I think Cooper Webb's taking it.
You think Webb is going to take it again?
I think so. Well, I mean, like I would prefer him not. I would prefer Ken Roczen to win.
No, I totally get what you're saying.
I would most prefer Aaron Plessinger to win.
Oh yeah, dude.
I don't
if we got AP to win,
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I would literally do a backflip on my dirt bike.
Who knows though? He's on a brand new bike. I mean, you hear that every single person's fast. So I've heard he's fast on that bike.
Mm-hmm. He's getting a little bit older though.
So you think Roczen is your overhype, right? Basically.
I would also say I think Ferrandis is a little overhyped.
Ferrandis. Okay, and then your tops.
I think Cooper Webb's going to win, and I think Ken Roczen's going to finish like 4th. And I've heard a lot of people say that like Dylan Ferrandis is going to be up there in the title hunt, but you got to remember last year he had a lot of like 12th place finishes in Supercross. And like, he won a 250 title or two 250 titles in Supercross, but I think he'll definitely be better this year. I mean, he's obviously got a lot of like hype coming in from winning the outdoor title, but he didn't look that great in the 450s last year, I don't think. So it would be a big jump for him to go from that to being right up there battling for first place every weekend.
I think we're forgetting about Eli Tomac.
It's interesting about Ferrandis is like, I'm going to make him my overhype. Okay. Right. Like, I think a lot of people want him to win. A lot of people saw how he did it outdoors and was like, because even, like I said, even I was like, whoa, what the heck? Where did this guy come from? But outdoors is not Supercross.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like,
it's a completely
Supercross
different animal.
Is all about making sure you're in your rhythm, because as soon as you're off your rhythm, whether a whoop section gets you or some triple or, some rhythm section, if you get out of whatever rhythm that is that you're in to get your speed up, it's gone, right? Like it takes forever to get back into the rhythm because it's literally jumps, turn, whoop section, turn, jump versus outdoor, which is like long straightaway, sweeping turn, big ass jump that you can breathe in the air and go like, okay, landing, right? That's a different mindset versus like, I need to be pinned and make sure that I'm going and not getting thrown off. And that's why, as much as I hate to say it, you're right. Like, Webb has the mind game down.
100%.
Right? Like, he messes with everybody, and everybody saw it when he really messed with Roxon, right? Throwing up that board in front of him saying red plate, talking crap to him at the starting line, like all that stuff. He's got that down. The thing that I think is really going against Coop is, and I hate to say it because I'm not a big Alden Baker fan. I don't like him as a trainer. But for you to win a championship with the trainer who creates champions, and then just be like, thanks, buddy, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big change. And that's something that could definitely turn into like an explosion of like, this is not good, right? He doesn't keep that intensity. He doesn't keep that mind game up. Everything can fall away. So I'm gonna say I think that Webb will take it, but I'm hoping, and my choice would be Tomac.
Okay.
Because I think Tomac is in this position where he has to do something.
I would 100% agree with that. Yeah, he's on a platform right now.
Against the wall now.
Yep.
You've been given the bike, the bike that everybody wants to be on. You've been given the opportunity with Star Racing, and Star Racing Yamaha, from what it sounds like, that team is very much rider centric. They want to make the bike work for the rider. It's not like Cowie where they're like, here's the most badass bike, now figure it out. But, right? And everybody knows their bikes are badass, but that's the bike you're getting and that's it. Right? Click your clickers and then move on. On the other hand, Yamaha is very centric to their riders. And I think that if Tomac is going to do it, it's going to be this season. Otherwise, just send him on his way, bro. Like, just, it's time to go. It's time to retire. You've done your part. Like, become a trainer, become a manager or something like that. I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but that's how it is. Like, in this sport where you have Barsha, Roxon, Webb, Ferrandis, I mean, the list and we're talking about, that's just top 5. You still have like badass riders all the way down to 12. You got to make it happen. And so I'm going to say Ferrandis is my overhype. Webb is like my podium guy. And then, why am I drawing a blank? Eli Tomac as my number 1. So hold me to it.
Interesting. So do you think, let's say Eli comes out, wins the championship in Supercross, do you think he retires after this year at the top, or do you think that he would? I
would hope he would. I would hope he would.
I'm going to agree with you on that one. Yeah. I hope that he takes that and goes like, hey, I don't know what his contract is. I don't know if he signed a 1 year or a 2 year. I think
when they did that Bell video that came out recently, I think it was that I heard it. He was like, yeah, I don't really know if I'm going to ride for 1 more year, 2 more years or what. So that made me think, oh, he must just be on a 1 year contract.
Yeah. So if he does 1 year and he goes blazing, I hope that he does the same thing, that he's like, hey, I proved my point. I made it happen. I proved that I could do it on different bikes. Have a good day. Right. Just take the money and run. Because I don't think it's like Roxon, like you said last year. Roxon didn't do it last year. Probably won't do it this year. Maybe he will.
We'll see.
We'll see. But Eli, if he doesn't do it this year, I don't think he has the room to do it next year. Right. Like, Yamaha isn't signing him because he's the grandpa and everybody likes him. Yamaha sees an opportunity and is going like, this is a dynasty we're building. Put up the numbers. And if you do good, we'll keep you on the team as like a coach or a trainer or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Tomac needs to make it happen. And
what you got to think about too is there's a lot of 250 riders on that Star Yamaha team that want that 450 spot.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So bad.
Yeah, they'll do
so bad.
So before we move on to the 250s, random 450 question: how do you think Malcolm Stewart's going to do this year?
Okay. How is he going to do overall?
Yeah.
Okay. So like, here's my thing with Mookie is I'm not sure. Okay. We all like, everybody always says, well, he's not his brother. He's not his brother. Well, no crap.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
yeah,
obviously they come from a race family. That's great. But nobody's the same person. Just like, Jet, the Lawrence brothers, right? Both blazing fast, both like night and day people.
Yeah.
They're like completely different.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't even know they were brothers until like, because I saw the Jet Lawrence and then the Hunter Lawrence on the screen. I'm like, I wonder if those two are brothers. I mean, like they don't look. I was like, is that my coincidence? Like the very first time I saw Jet and Hunter, I was like, they don't look anything the same. Like they look completely different, but I guess they are brothers.
Yeah, they do. They look different. They act different. And the same thing goes for the Stewart family. They act different. They look different. They ride different. But I do think that this Husqvarna move was probably the smartest thing that he could do. And it's smart for Husqvarna, right? Because now they have name recognition from a real big name in the industry, the Stewart family, right? And he's riding with Alden Baker, the guy that Webb just left. He just got in with him. And we already know Stewart. I mean, he's not the fastest guy, but I'll tell you what, you watch him on the whoops.
Oh yeah, he's fearless.
Crazy
he's
fast over
absolutely
whoops.
Fearless on the whoops.
Now imagine he tightens up the whoop section. He tightens up his, I think one of the biggest things that he fights is just his athleticism, right? Like he's athletic, but he's just not that level yet. Well, Alden Baker will put him at that level or he'll fail. And that's just what it is. So we haven't tossed his name around very much, but I do think that we'll probably see him on the podium more than people are imagining. And I think it'll be a mix of Alden doing his magic and that bike, that Husqvarna bike will be, I mean, did you guys watch any of the videos of him riding that Husky?
Yeah.
Like the very first video they put out of him, even I was like, how did he get so comfortable so fast?
Yeah.
Right. Like that bike is most people who have like if you ride a Japanese bike and then you hop onto one of the KTM Husky gas bikes, there is a change, right? You're like, whoa, this frame, this steel frame is a little bit different. It reacts different. It turns different. But he hopped on the bike and was sending that thing over quads. And I was like, holy moly.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if this is his year, but I think this year will be like that ramp up year where next year people might be like, oh man, the guy to look out for is actually Stewart.
Yeah. And I think that the fitness part of that is going to play a huge factor in it too, because I heard someone say like, well, not that he was like fat before, but you would almost like, I felt like last year in Supercross, you would see Malcolm near the front. And then like towards the end of the race, you'd be like, yo, where'd Malcolm go?
Where did he go?
And you see him, he's back in like 10th. And someone said that they were, I think it was like Chris Kiefer was at the Baker's factory.
Yeah.
He was like, Malcolm's lost like 20 pounds since last time I saw him. And I saw a video of him and he almost looked like a different person. Yeah. And I think that, I mean, if he's got, I mean, obviously Alden Baker's going to wear him out and make sure that the fitness isn't an issue. And I think that if he could have that speed that he had the first few laps of every race last year, then, I mean,
he'd be up there.
I don't think he's going to win the title this year, but I think he's going to be up a lot. It's definitely a good move for him, I think.
Yeah, it's an amazing move for him. It's fresh. It's good. He's got a good trainer. I don't want to say a good trainer. I don't know Alden Baker. All I know is he is notorious for burning out riders.
Well, that's why I heard that's why Cooper Webb left, because he was like, I don't want to ride anymore if I'm going to be riding at this pace.
And if you do your research, you'll find out that is the thing with the Baker Ranch. Like he is. So Alden Baker, if you guys don't know, he's not a dirt bike guy. Yeah, he's a military guy.
He's a physical trainer too.
Ride dirt bike. I'm sure he can ride a dirt bike, and I'm sure he has a dirt bike, but he doesn't race dirt bikes. He didn't come into this industry to be a nice trainer or a trainer that worries about the aspects of humanity, right? He came to make champions for these teams who are going to pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars. And when you have a person who has a military background and all he worries about is the bottom line, well, you're going to burn out your rider, because at the end of the day, the championship is what pays you. If you don't get that championship and that placard's not up on your wall, well, guess what? Most likely the trainer is going to be the first person who gets the blame, because the bike are indeed, they've built that bike for the rider. Now it's the trainer's fault. So it's unfortunate that he is notorious for burning out riders like Cooper Webb and plenty of others. But you cannot deny the fact that this guy creates just champ after champ after champ. And if your goal as a racer is to hit the championship check mark and be like, sick, cool, Cooper Webb did that. He checked it off, and now he's going to try his own thing, and maybe somebody else will check it off this season or next season. But it is unfortunate that he has that way about him, and I really hope he doesn't burn out Mookie that fast, right? Where he just pushes him to the edge, and then we see him just go like, nah, we're out.
Yeah, I think Connor's made some points where if you go to the Baker factory, that's kind of like, if you already have the potential to be a champion, he will kind of extract that from you, but he'll extract it in a way.
That's one thing I've heard a critique of him, is that he just takes champions and keeps them champions, because of, you have to be at such a high level already to even train with him.
Right.
And I think now, I mean, like, I don't know exactly when Cooper started working with him. I think he'd probably already won his 250 title.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, when Dungy started working for him or what, which I'm not the one that said that. I just heard someone say that somewhere. But right. I think it'll be interesting to see, A, how Cooper does away from him, and B, what he does with Malcolm and AP.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
And dude, we didn't even talk about AP being at the Baker factory.
I know,
right?
Yeah, right.
That's the weirdest.
I know, right?
In my opinion, that's the weirdest story of all of this, right?
Yeah, not only
a guy who is, KTM is an awesome brand. They do amazing things with Red Bull. They're notorious for the things that they do, but you take this, like, and I don't mean this derogatory, but like this country kid.
Oh yeah. Right? I take that as a compliment.
On, like, one of the baddest bikes out there, and then throw him into one of the craziest trainers that's ever been in MX. Something's going to happen, whether he breaks or he just becomes like the guy. There is no in between. Dude, I don't feel like. I think AP is going to be something different, and nobody is ready for it.
I hope so. He's probably my favorite 450 rider.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I wave his flag all day long when people are like, "Oh, he's not going to be a champ." I was like, "You just wait and see."
I think he's a fan favorite. I know,
he's a fan favorite.
Well, he's one of those guys, like, kind of like Jet, who he's on the podium yelling 3 for Dale and goofing off. And I remember when he was in the 250 class and he did that belly flop into the puddle.
Dude, yeah. So I'm originally from Michigan. That's like my hometown. I grew up 10 minutes from Red Bud, and we would go watch Red Bud, and AP was definitely the fan favorite when we go watch him there. So
well, he's like Mr. America too. So especially on 4th of July weekend.
Dude, 4th of July weekend was, that's his people. So when you call him a redneck, like I think that's like the biggest compliment.
Yeah, he would probably love that.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. I'm sure he would, but people nowadays. But all right, 250. Give me your 250s.
I'm gonna have to pull up a list because I think there's some guys that were.
So are we gonna just say overall who we think will do best, or are we gonna split it up
East Coast, West Coast? I just want to know who you think is the guy. Like who's the guy that's going to be making waves, and then who's the guy who's just completely bunk overhyped.
I think that if Jet can keep it on 2 wheels all season, then he's going to demolish everyone.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, then might be the same thing as last season.
Unfortunately.
I think there's who is the privateer that showed up in a couple races and kind of like he was top 5. I forget, it's
a 250 guy.
Yeah. There's a couple 250 guys even in like the outdoors who were like poking tire up front.
I don't know.
I'd have to pull up like the
list.
Yeah, I'd have to pull up the list because I know there's so many 250 riders out there.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think there's
one thing I think, which this is not new news at all, but I think that Joe Shimoda is going to be pretty dang solid this year.
I was literally going to say that.
And it's so weird, like. Shimoda is one of those guys that like is a sleeper. Like nobody saw him come. I didn't see him coming. I certainly was not like, this kid from Japan's just gonna wreck people.
Well, even last year he finished in points ahead of Jet. Just because
and nobody
he was
talked about it.
Nobody
talked about it. Right. It's because Jet is, really hyped up and the hype is real. Right. Like he's a fantastic rider and he deserves all that type of support. But then when you have somebody like Joe Shimoda, who kind of like comes out of nowhere, super humble, doesn't really have the hype that everybody else has in the 250 class. Cause we got to be honest, like a lot of people in the 250 class are way, way, way overhyped. But Joe Shimoda, right. He puts it on paper. He puts it down and he's consistent. And the bike that that Cowie bike is just solid. And I watch him I don't know if you guys, where you guys follow him, but I honestly think that the best place to see him is on Twitter because he posts raw footage of him all the time.
Really
cool.
And and you watch him and you're like, when somebody's so smooth, they look slow, but then when you look at it on paper, like you time there, you're like, how is he putting down these lap times? That's Joe Shimoda.
He's kind of like a sleeper.
He's very smooth. He's methodical when he rides and it makes it look like he's not going fast. But then when you look at the points, you're like, what?
I think his consistency is there too.
This season, he may not walk away with the championship, but he'll make his waves. But next season, watch out. I'm telling people right now, next season, he will be the guy that people are like, whoa, what is going on here?
Well, I think
it's going to be like
I think it's going to be a really interesting dynamic in that pro circuit pit between which I don't know who exactly is racing what coast. I know Joe's racing West Coast.
Right.
But for the past few years, like Austin Fortner's been supposed to be the man over there. And I think if he doesn't show up this season, then I don't know what's going to happen to him. But you've got him. And then now you've got Jet Reynolds coming in, who's the new hyped up amateur.
Right.
But I mean, who's the number one in the pro circuit pits right now? If I were in charge, I would put Joe as number one. I mean, he's the most consistent, scored the highest in points.
Right.
But
and it sucks because Forkner is a kid that like I like, but it's not panning out yet. And I don't know if it will. And it's sad to say, but like he's coming back off an injury. He's also in this like weird place where he hasn't been, he got his season cut short because of that injury. Now he's going to come back to other people, especially in the 250 class, but on his own team that are starting to creep into that, like, well, I was the top guy, but now these other people are kind of taking my spotlight. And that can either be really good because it's a chip on your shoulder and you eat up that chip and you're like, I have to prove everybody wrong right now. Or it's a chip on your shoulder and it turns into this mess in the pits, or it turns into this like animosity towards your teammates. And that can wreck a team really quickly too.
Yeah.
So it sucks to say, because I'll be honest, I was the guy who was like, Forkner, you know what I mean? Like, a year or two ago, that was me. And now I'm like, I hate to say it, but I'm not sure if he can pull it off. And if he can, I don't know if it's with Cowie.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be with Cowie.
Else.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting if he doesn't do what, like, become a title contender this season. I don't know what exactly his contract is with Cowie. Yeah. I mean, I know he's been there for a while now, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was up after this season. And if he doesn't put together a title hunt or something, I don't think they would necessarily want him back.
No.
And I don't know. I mean, the 450 team isn't going to want him either.
I hate to cut you off, Connor, but we got like 10 seconds.
Oh, shit, you're right.
Oh, we can wrap it up, guys.
Well, I'll start the camera over real quick, and then we'll start to wrap it up, because we've been going for an hour and a half.
Thoughts on when Deegan competes? I don't know. Yamaha has not said anything. I really hope that it's soon. He's looking really good on that 250. Really good question, Logan.
We getting some fan questions?
Yeah. People are just, like I said, this Deegan thing, it keeps coming up. Like, everybody wants to know when Deegan's going to join, the big show. And
well, it's funny. I saw, I forgot where it was, but it was on TikTok, of course. Someone was like, Deegan's going to win the 250 title this year. And I was like,
I don't think he's going to see Gage up this year.
I was like, I'm not sure he's going to be there, dude.
Yeah. It's hard though, because you're talking about a kid who basically has a full-blown Supercross outdoor ride.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like nobody, I don't know of any kid. Well, maybe Villapoto kind of got something similar, but I don't think it was to the level of like, there are people that legitimately are like, oh yeah, he's racing this season because he looks like he should be racing in Supercross this season. He has the bike, he has the gear, he has all the support.
I mean, he's posting every day riding Supercross tracks.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah. I just watched one of their videos. He's on a Supercross track.
He was riding with Eli yesterday, the day before, and like he's just like a part of the team.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where you're like, so then should he be racing?
Yeah,
right? Like
for as much time he's been putting in, like, is he going to be?
Let's make it happen. I'll call up Deegan. We'll just make it happen.
Definitely, dude.
So do we wrap up everything in the 250 class?
Yeah.
I gotta.
Oh no.
I mean, obviously, I really want to see Hunter do better this year. I think he's
underrated.
Yeah, I think Hunter's underrated.
The power rankings came out a couple days ago. Yeah. And they had Hunter in like 8th.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
Yep.
I was like,
that would be last year.
He finished second in points last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say that if you were to like power rank him, I'd be like, I honestly I don't know where to rank him, but I know that he's definitely an underdog this year.
Top 5.
I would definitely put him top 5. 100% put him top 5.
Top 5, yeah. I do think Hunter could definitely do top 5. I do think he's underhyped, but there's a part of that's him, right? Like, he's not his brother who's just like constantly out there posting all the time in your face. Not that it's a bad thing, but on social media all the time. I think Hunter is more lax, but again, he could be another sleeper that nobody sees coming. I definitely think he could be top 5. That should be cake this season.
Yeah. Especially on the bike.
Get top 5 this season with the bike that he has and all the support that he has, that'll be the real disappointment, right?
I'd agree with that statement, 100%.
So let's wrap it to 250 real quick, and then I have one more question for you, and then we'll wrap it up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So who's your pick?
So my pick for honestly, I got to go with Jet. He's just super solid, and I think listening to him kind of talk about like Supercross, like coming off of he had some injuries last year. So did he not? Like, am I wrong on that? Like
he had a few like
minor injuries.
I think there was one race he didn't finish, maybe.
Yeah, last season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he didn't look I guess complete on his bike last year. I think this year he's going to look a little bit more consistent. I think that's where Jet's going to be pretty solid. He's going to find his consistency this year because he found it in outdoors. I think he's going to really, tailor and focus in on that title. So, but yeah, I'm down with that. Pick.
Yeah, I if he can keep it on two wheels, I'm still a little skeptical. But if he can do it, then I think he's got it. If he throws it away, then I don't know. I don't see Justin Cooper or Colt Nichols backing it up, honestly.
Yeah,
maybe Colt if Jet really throws it away, but
right.
I don't know. And then what's your pick?
I mean, dude, I'm a Jet fan all the way, right? Like, I think he has the talent. I think he has the speed. I think he has the personality to be a champion. But don't crash, dude.
Yeah, keep it on two wheels. Yeah,
yeah.
Keep it on two wheels. Keep it upright. Like, he's almost like James Stewart, where he's blazing fast.
Yeah, that's a very good. Yeah, I like that.
Can't hold it together for long enough. But the thing is, he's in the perfect position for somebody to be like, "Yo, pump the brakes." Right? Yeah. Everybody knows you're fast. Now just don't crash. Even if that means slow down a little bit and get your points just on the rocker, right? Get on the podium, get a couple firsts. Then at the end of the season, let's focus on that blistering speed. But those first half races, just worry about getting that podium spot. First or second, third, doesn't even matter, right? But I do think that Jet can make it happen. Nichols, who knows, right? Like it's one of those things where I want to be. I'm not against it. I think he's a solid rider. Obviously, he's a champion, but I just don't see that like hurrah.
Yeah,
definitely.
We'll see. I would say the same thing about Justin Cooper. I don't know. But anyway, I guess we'll find out starting this Saturday.
Yeah, hey, dude, that's what we should do is just recap and find out.
Dude, I'm down. So also my phone's about to die. So if I lose you on the TikTok live, then my phone's dead. But
it's all good.
So I've got one more question for you, and then we'll wrap it up because we've been going a while. So
shoot it.
One thing that me and Hayden have noticed is we've been getting a lot more into the sport over the past year is how super nice and awesome all these people in the motocross community are, especially like when you go to the track and like meet people and like, I mean, like we're talking to you right now and like you seem like super nice, obviously, but there's also a lot of negativity on TikTok specifically in the moto community.
Yeah.
So I guess my question for you is like, what do you think causes that? And then what is a way for people like us to fix that?
Sure. So, dang, that's a tough, but a really good question. So yeah, you're right. Like I've said it multiple times in multiple TikToks of mine where I say like, the reason why I called this whole thing the Moto Fam isn't because my family rides dirt bikes. It's because I'm a firm believer that the moto community is a family, right? Like there have been times where I'm at the track and I forgot my son's 2-stroke oil.
Yeah.
Right. Now he's bummed. And I've had dudes go like, no, man, I got a bunch of 2-stroke oil, throw it in there. Here's some pre-mixed gas, right? With gas prices being through the roof. Here's some gas. Don't pay me back. Don't even worry about it. Have a good day. Right.
Yeah.
Like that is the motocross community that I love. But you're right. There is this weird opposite side. Now, I think it comes down to, let's say, like 2 to 3 things. Okay. The first one, when it comes to like TikTok. So a part of my business is understanding what is working. That's why we're a media group and not just me being cool on the internet, right? I do multimedia. I help out with other companies' media situations. And I always tell them one thing: you kind of have to fit in one of three buckets. You have to be informative, or you have to be sexy, which you can see plenty of on TikTok, or you have to be controversial. Okay. You have to fit one of those buckets. And a lot of people don't care enough to be informative. A lot of people don't want to read the magazines. They don't want to listen to the posts. They don't want to watch the writers. So that takes it off. I'm not a sexy guy, and plenty of dudes can't. There's plenty of dudes out there and dudettes who can't be that sexy bucket. So what's the last bucket? Controversy. So when I post a video that says, hey, check out this new electric dirt bike, I didn't say I liked it. I didn't say I want to ride one. Just look at it. And then you have a flood of people who are like, dirt bikes need to be gas, and electric bikes suck, and blah, 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 blah. And, or the classic one is they tag 109 Nate, or they'll tag like,
I was thinking the same thing.
The MX guru, right? They'll tag them in my videos and say like, what do you think about this? Who cares?
Yeah, it stirs up content and creates views.
Why there needs to be this like weird devolving into like, my tribe is the 109 Nate tribe. My tribe is D-class moto, right? My tribe is like, since when can I not, dude, I ride a freaking KTM. I have a Honda sweater on, right? Like this stupid stuff where people are like, Suzuki's are trash, KTM is trash. This is, bro, I don't understand it. And I never will, because the fact of the matter is, if you've ridden a dirt bike, you've done something that less than 10% of the, I think it's probably less than that, but for sure, less than 10% of the entire population of the world has ever done, right? Most people will never put their leg over a dirt bike and feel what it feels like to hit a dirt jump, fourth gear tapped, and hope to God you don't die. Right?
For sure.
So why is it that a person who's felt that and a person who's felt that have to have some sort of animosity because I ride a KTM and you ride a Suzuki, or I ride a Honda and you ride a Yamaha?
True that.
Right? Yeah. Like, I don't know that. I don't understand it. My biggest thing with any of it is, like I said before, does it push motocross forward? Then I'm into it, right? If you want to be a dick about it and it gets you views or whatever, that's cool. Don't bring it to my page, because to be honest with you, I'm a firm believer that there's two things that we can do as influencers, as people who are like in the mix is, look, most of these people, I shouldn't even call them people. Most of the time when a TikToker comments on my video something negative, and then I go to their profile, it's some 12-year-old kid.
Yeah. It's like somebody,
like, some kid who's like, your bike sucks. And I'm like, bro, you are riding an 85.
Yeah.
You don't have 12 grand to buy a KTM.
Yeah.
You don't have 10 grand to buy you don't have 14 grand to go buy a Yamaha, right? Like, you don't know what you're talking about. So when it comes to that, I just don't respond.
Yeah.
Because I'm a 35-year-old man. I don't need to argue with some 10, 12, 13, 15-year-old, right?
You argue with an idiot, they're gonna beat you up on their level.
Right. You know, like,
gonna drag you down there.
It's just not my forte, and it's not even worth it.
Yeah.
For the people who are like, e-bikes are lame and you're fucking stupid for thinking that they're cool. The thing that I want to tell most of those people are like, cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
Whatever, man.
Right on. Like, you're so right on your 1992 CR125. Right? Like, you are dead right
on my
that
TTR.
clapped out YZ.
Yeah, on my
right? Like
2001
I
TTR.
certainly don't want an 80 horsepower electric dirt bike that multiple pros now have come out and been like,
that's a sick
I'm
bike.
not getting paid for this. This bike is sick.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Like we have multiple pros that are like, not sponsored by Stark Varg, not sponsored by any electric dirt bike, who hop on a dirt bike that's electric and go,
that was sick.
this is the future.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. They write it out. They put their freaking name on it and say, this is the future.
Mhm.
I don't want it to be the only future, but I'm sorry. You're some guy on your couch who watches a Supercross race and has a dirt bike. I am a person who my entire job is to be in the industry. I read every article, listen to every voice, talk to every single person. When I go on TikTok and I put up a video and people comment, I comment back because this is a conversation.
Mhm.
This isn't, I'm right because I'm the Moto Fam. Fuck you. This is, I'm the Moto Fam. Talk to me. Let's figure this out.
Mhm.
And if you don't like it, unfollow.
Yeah.
But keep commenting because you guys are helping the algorithm.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
you're just
and-
feeding
right?
it more.
And one thing that, I mean, it doesn't really bother me. I'm more just like confused about it is I've seen a lot of hate on like kids that ride C class. And I posted this video of Hayden where it was like, he kind of collided with this guy in the air, and
It was my first race ever.
Yeah, it was his first race ever. And first comment was like, "Get off the track, you suck." And it's like, well,
What the heck?
what are we supposed to do? Just never race? Like,
Yeah.
this beginner class is for beginners to learn.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's like all these people, oh, this is why I hate C class. This is why. And
Yeah. Well,
and like
sorry
that's
to
kind of
correct you,
like
but we're
we
D
kind
class.
of we kind of like created the D class to kind of like almost steer into the skid of like, yeah, we're slow and we're not trying to pretend like we're not.
Yeah, we enjoy being here because there's a lot of other people who are slow. Like we give them a voice, you know, like
But like when people like comment like, "Oh, you idiot, get off the track," like I just laugh at it because I'm like, I'm sorry that I made your day so bad that you had to comment that. I don't care at all.
Thank you for being, that involved in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other part of that is like, look, I'll be honest. The last time I raced, I got my ass spanked.
Oh yeah,
right?
me too.
Like,
Yeah.
It was bad. And, but on the other hand, like I get my adrenaline rush. I'm not there to fucking, I'm sorry, I'm cussing so much. My bad. I'm not, this topic makes me so upset, right? Like, imagine me telling my son, dude, get off the track, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
Like my son, the first time he raced, came in last and second to last. Should I have told him, bro, get off the track? We're not racing anymore. Right? Like it goes back to this thing of like, are we growing our industry or are we the old men?
Yeah.
Right? Are we the guys who are like, two strokes forever, 1992 to 95 was the golden years?
Yeah.
Or can we just be like, yo, I dig that CR. I dig your two-stroke. I dig the fact that you ride a vintage dirt bike that is from 1970. I dig that. But guess what? I also like the brand new bikes.
Yeah.
And I also like the fact that I can go to a local race, have a little bit of fun, and laugh at myself for falling over in a rut.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, great. Hope you make it to Loretta Lynn's. And if you don't, then you're just as terrible, because the fact of the matter is not many people are going to make it to that level, right? Like most people don't. So why can't we support each other on
exactly
the level that we're at?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say about that is more and more, the internet, TikTok, Instagram makes everybody 10 feet tall.
Yep.
Right. And then and I'm not saying this happens all the time. I'm saying it does happen where somebody says something in the comments that is so from left field, right? Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're super aggressive with it. You don't know what you're talking about. This person, this, and that. This bike is this, and that. Right. And then I'm like, are you sure? Because I'll tag you in the article.
Yeah.
Or I'll even show you the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you don't hear anything back.
Yeah, it's silent. Yeah, it's
right?
like this voice behind a keyboard.
Oh, shoot, this guy actually replied to me. He actually reads his comments. My bad, right? Like, I more often than not would rather be like, hey, let's just talk. If you're not going to talk back to me, then we're not going to talk at all. But for you to just comment this random thing and tell me I'm wrong and that I'm an idiot, or like I posted that video of Cooper Webb on a 2022 factory edition bike. It's the bike he's racing this year. And I said, hey, this is a 2023. I wasn't wrong. It is the factory edition for 2022. And in 2023, it will be the main bike that KTM has. And they will come out with a different factory edition and the cycle will happen again, right? Like, that's how factory teams work. And you cannot believe how many people's faces melted off. You're an idiot.
You're so wrong.
This is a 22. It's a factory. I know. I'm not an idiot. But guess what? Most people can't buy that factory edition. But in 23, when it becomes the main model, they will be able to buy it.
Yep.
And being a marketing major, look, for my friends on TikTok and the friends that I'm talking to, I went to school for marketing. Do you really think that I don't know what I'm saying when I say it? And if I get it wrong, do you really think that I don't know that I said it wrong, or that I'm not trying to get a reaction out of people for the things that I say? Right? Like, because if everything was dead on perfect every single time, I don't mean to be mean, but like, I'd be the MX guru, right? Who has 86,000 followers, but 130 views on every one of his videos, right? Yep. Like, I'm the opposite. I have 26,000 followers, but most of my videos bank at like 5,000 views, 10,000 views, 25,000 views, right? I think the MX guru is freaking amazing. He's wicked smart. He understands, but he's also too perfect. He knows everything so well that when he says something, people don't listen because they're like, yeah, that's right. And then they move on.
Yeah. They don't question it because
versus me, who's like, hey, this is a 2023 KTM. Am I wrong? No. Do you think I'm wrong? Yeah. Are you going to comment and feed the algorithm? Oh, heck yeah.
Exactly.
Is that going to get me views?
Definitely.
Yes. Is that going to get me paid? Yes.
Yeah,
Are
please.
you going to go to my YouTube and comment? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. The controversy sells for sure.
Definitely.
Right. And I don't want to be a controversial figure. I just want people to understand that the box that they live in TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube is not real.
Yep.
And take a step back and just like, let's just be the motocross community that we can be, where we
100%.
support each other. We bring more people into it. We have electric bikes, 2 strokes, 4 strokes. You like your racer. I like my racer. I ride my bike. You ride your clapped out bike. And that's it. Right?
Heck
like,
yeah.
Let's have fun. And the real competition isn't in my comments. It's on the racetrack when Supercross happens, outdoor happens. Let's talk shit to each other when my racer takes yours out, right? Like, that should be the conversations that we're having, not the, you don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool story, bro. Cool story, bro. But
yeah, cool story, bro.
Yeah.
For sure, bro. You know what you're talking about.
You're that guy, bro. You're that guy. Trust me.
Are you? Absolutely.
Are you 100% certain?
And it's weird because like like more people than not, like I respect 109 Nate. I really do. And people try and like mix things up. I respect the MX guru. It's weird how people try and like mix things up. I don't even know these people.
Right. Yeah.
I've
You've
never
met
them in my life. I have no idea what they're like in person. And the fact of the matter is, I only get to see what they put up on their social media. And so, like I said, I think it's super cool that Nate has his niche, right? Like he has people that are like, heck yeah, this is my guy. Badass. Hey, D-Class Moto, these are my guys. Like I am on the same level as them. Hey, the Moto Fam, I am on the same level. Cool. We can all be that way, but it doesn't mean that I can't be a fan myself of 109 Nate, or I can't be a fan of the MX Guru or Under Average Moto or any of those dudes. It's weird that we're in this place with TikTok where people are tag people in videos to be like, look at this guy. In fact, and I know we're supposed to be wrapping up. One last story. I posted a video about an electric bike. Keep getting back to that. 109 Nate used a clip of my video and he didn't even like say anything about me or my video. He just said, hey, like, this is what was said. And then he said, this is what his truth is, what he believes to be the truth about electric bikes. And somebody tagged me in his video and was like, oh, something about like disrespectful and I was like, and 109 Nate was like, hey, no disrespect at all. And I was like, yeah, I don't understand why you're saying this is disrespectful. Like, if anything, I just got views because homeboy has so many freaking followers and he chose to use a part of my video. I'm flattered. That's freaking badass. I think he's rad. I may not agree with the way he produces or puts himself out there, but I don't care. I think he does what he does and he does it well. People like it.
Yep.
I try and do my part. If you like it, cool. If you don't, great. But I see no animosity between you guys, me, Nate, MX Guru, Under Average Moto, or any of the other guys. If in fact, I think it'd be great if we all just like helped each other, I guess, like, collaborated.
There's too much controversy.
Yeah. And I think, that's kind of like one of our goals of doing this is like, we're going to have on a number of those guys. We've already been talking to 109 Nate said he wants to like fly down here. I was like, dude, I was like, we can do it over Zoom. He's like, no, I want to, I was like, I need a vacation. We're like, all right.
I need one too, bro.
So you can't be mad at that, right?
No, yeah,
like,
of course
not.
Be
mad at a guy who's willing to like go out of his way to talk about moto.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so like between talking to him and we're going to have on Under Average Moto as well. And I mean, I think everyone's goal is to grow the sport. So, I mean, if we can band together and do it, then
that's freaking
why
dope.
not?
Then that's a win-win for everyone,
Definitely.
And I think that's a great way to end it and the conversation, right? For sure. I think if all of us are on it, this is a positive note. And I can't imagine that any of us don't have that kind of support for each other, right? Like I want all of the motocross influencers, even the ones who are just starting out with I see them all the time with 100 or 200 followers, but they put out badass content.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, how are you not blowing up?
Right? Exactly.
Like,
yep.
It's just one of those things. And why wouldn't I want to see somebody else be successful? Hell, if I could get paid $100,000 a year to talk about dirt bikes, I would. Why would I not want that for you guys or somebody else? So we could go ride at our own private track every weekend, right? Like it just doesn't add up when people have that weird mentality, but yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah. Thanks for coming on, dude. This has been
absolutely.
The 2 hours flew by super quick.
I know, dude. I talked a lot. Thank you guys so much for inviting me, dude. When you guys reached out to me, I was so amped. Hopefully, maybe this will be the trend. Maybe Nate will come out and meet you guys in person. Then I'll meet you guys, and we can start doing like a big podcast all in person. That'd be sick.
For sure. That'd be awesome. Yeah. You said you're in Arizona, right?
Yeah, I'm in Arizona.
Okay. Cool. Well, if we ever end up out that way, we'll hit you up and we'll do a
good
podcast in person or something. So
definitely, dude.
There's a lot of good tracks out here. We can make it happen.
Oh,
for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Awesome. We'll appreciate it.
Hey, we'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Stay safe out there, bro. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Oh man, what a freaking dope guy.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me shut down this mic real quick.
Ooh. Make a noise.
We gotta do a quick wrap up because that.
Yeah. I mean, huge shout out to MX Family. That was super great to have him out there and have him on.
I could have talked to him for another 2 hours.
Yeah, dude. If I didn't have to use the bathroom or
if I still hadn't eaten dinner yet.
Oh yeah. I was thinking like, dang, Connor's probably hungry and I'm already hungry. So we're probably going to go get some food after this. But yeah, huge things coming to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you what we have. I don't know. We just got some good content coming your way and potential, not even just like collaborations, but potential sponsorships, maybe ? I don't know.
We'll see.
TBD.
We've got some stuff in the pipe. So we recorded this on what's today, Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try and get it by Thursday because we talked a lot about pre-Supercross stuff.
Yeah, we got to get some Supercross in. We got to get some stuff put in before Supercross, so that way we're like,
I got a lot of work to do.
Full swing. I mean, yeah, we got a lot of work to do.
I'll edit it tomorrow night. Oh, shoot, I'm going to eat dinner with friends tomorrow night. I'll edit it after I get dinner with friends tomorrow night.
Dang, see, this is what I'm talking about. This man's putting in the hours. He's just like out there striving. He's doing great things.
Yeah, and Hayden's gonna, do some.
I'm gonna promote the crap out of this.
Yeah, Hayden's gonna, even though he's fasting on social media right now.
Oh wait, yeah, crap.
Hayden's gonna be on the side of the street with a sign,
dude. Yeah,
D-Class Moto
Podcast. Get on there.
We're gonna wrap it up since we've been going for. Oh shoot, this is about to go out anyway.
We're running out of time anyway. But
all right, well, thanks for watching, everyone. We will see you hopefully in less than a week or a week. We're gonna get one soon. We've got Huckett Films coming up to Nashville soon, and we're gonna do something sweet with them. So yeah, appreciate you guys listening. Hope you guys enjoyed the Moto Fam. We will see y'all on the next one. Peace.